welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori, and I am your host. And today we have quite, I want to see the odd couple, maybe motley crew, maybe just...
Are you calling me the motley part of this crew?
Maybe 3 generations, perhaps.
Oh, there we go.
Probably.
Okay, are you considered a millennial, Haley?
Gen Z.
Okay,
I'm in between a little bit.
we have Gen Z, I'm a millennial.
And I'm a boomer.
You're a boomer.
Wow.
I see that. We have Haley Bookholdt joining us again. Hi, Haley.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness. I'm so grateful that you were in town for all the Phoenix Open, the spectacle as it was, and other things that we're going to dive into.
Yeah.
And I was like, Haley, let's meet in person. Let's do an episode.
Happy to be here. I'm thinking about moving here. I love it here.
Oh my God.
I really love it here.
No, it's the best here. I would not live anywhere else.
From Florida?
From Charlotte, North Carolina.
Because I saw that your handicap is out of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
No, Kim's already done the gin research.
Yeah. Wait, can you tell me what it is? Because I've been locked out.
2.3 plus.
Okay. Oh, that's wrong.
I was just looking because as I was looking at her Instagram stuff that you sent me, I noticed that she hit the ball pretty damn good.
Yeah, she does.
And so I didn't know if you were a pro or what you were. And so I was just curious.
Just to wash up.
Well, that is not true. But so I did send Kim your Instagram page, but I haven't formally introduced you. This is Kimberly Eaton,
Kim.
So nice.
Hall of Famer, Colorado Hall of Famer, icon in Arizona, and occasional co-host on my podcast with me. Hi, Kim. How's it going?
Good, Tori. How are you since our defeat?
Yeah, we did get defeated. So our most recent, we played in a tournament as partners together recently, and we went into a playoff. And you know what? If you're going to lose by your opponent making a 30-foot birdie putt,
Well, that's
so
a little
be it.
long, but that's okay. That's good. I was out of the hole.
You think I'm exaggerating?
I don't think it was 30 feet, and it doesn't matter. I was out of the hole after about the 3rd shot, so I wasn't much help.
What were you guys playing in?
We were playing in our opening day, Arizona Golf Association opening day, just a one-day best ball. And Kim played so well. But the one playoff hole that we played, it wasn't her best, and she's still grinding over it.
Was it the pressure?
No, Kimberly does not feel pressure.
No, I think it was because we sat for 40 minutes.
Yeah, we did.
I really should have gone and hit some balls.
Yeah,
but
look, as the true golfer she is, she has been grinding over that hole ever since.
Oh yeah, I wasn't happy. I didn't play it very good the first time around either. So.
And really, I didn't play that well the whole 18 holes beforehand, and I played pretty decent on that one playoff hole. So I've been feeling great. I ended on a high.
I'm undefeated in playoffs.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's get in why you are here in Phoenix. So what's been going on?
I was here with the Adidas team for the waste management. I don't think any of us will be returning next year. It was a lot.
Okay, wait, back up.
When you say Adidas team.
Yes. So I'm just signed with Adidas for the year, as are a bunch of other, not even just content creators, but they have a really fun crew of just...
Is this kind of like you and Titleist?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So you guys, but Adidas brought you in, and I want to get into kind of what you guys are doing because they played at 500 Club too, which
I saw that.
I love that course. So what'd you think of the waste management?
I don't need to go back. My opinion.
Did you see any hookers get their stilettos stuck in the mud?
I saw a whole, what do I want to call this? Punani.
Say that again?
Just out and about.
Just out and about. I really wanted to go up and just pull her skirt down because she was just really intoxicated. Yeah. It was sad. It was honestly just sad.
The whole thing sounds a little sad to me, what went on this year.
It has.
And I think there's going to be some serious changes.
I hope so.
It felt a little, I'm not typically, I try not to be too traditional with golf. I'm pretty progressive with golf, I would say. It did feel a little bit disrespectful, to the game, with the level that it got. People were passed out by trash cans and just obviously tripping everywhere. It was wet. I think a lot of people I could have tripped.
Yeah.
So and I don't drink. So with that, it was just so much trash. We were joking about the name waste management was just a little bit ironic because it just wasn't being managed at all.
The waste.
So much waste.
Oh my God.
Well, I think the guys understand the 16th hole But from what I've heard, it went far beyond the 16th hole this year.
Like the
I could not physically make it past. So we were at the DraftKings booth, I guess you would call it, which is like right at the entrance.
Yeah. Was it a booth or were you at the big restaurant place that was right at the entrance? I don't even know.
Yeah,
I was not
big
there
restaurant
this year.
place. I was just referring to it as a booth because I don't. But yeah, I never made it past the 18th hole, which is like the closest to that spot. So we watched two groups come in at the 18th green and we could not venture past that.
Yeah, it looked like an absolute mess.
You got to wonder, 7 o'clock in the morning and with the rain delays and stuff, they were there until dark drinking the whole, well, until they cut them off. I'm not quite sure what time they cut the alcohol off, but by then it was too late.
Yeah, it was tough. I'm going to the Genesis this week though, so I hope it's going to be a little bit more.
Vast improvement.
Yeah, I think so.
What bothers me about waste management is the people that say it's helping grow the game. I really struggle with that because what it represented this past weekend was embarrassing.
An alcohol fest.
I'm so glad I didn't go. We usually go like every other year. I've been to it so many times and in all different areas. I've been to it as a volunteer at the 16th hole, all different, general admission. And it has gotten worse and worse over the years.
Really?
Yeah.
I went last year. Do I have any memories? I didn't drink
Super Bowl
last year
weekend.
either. Yeah. I also went to the Super Bowl last year. So I was like,
it was crazy.
Yeah. With so much love for those experiences, I like just don't need to do them again. I'm not a huge crowd girl. So.
Do you mind me asking why you don't drink?
No, not at all. I guess I shouldn't say I don't drink because there are definitely times I'll still have a glass of wine. Just like this past 6 months, even at my engagement party, I kind of just intuitively was like, don't think I'm loving it. Like it wasn't really serving me. I grew up Italian, never been off limits. I've never had I was never not allowed to drink, which probably isn't a good thing. But at the same time, I've always had a very neutral relationship with alcohol. And I think after maybe 22, it just started hitting me harder. And
Until you're 64.
Yeah, so it was kind of just like an intuitive thing for me. And I have a lot of fun without alcohol. Mm-hmm. And then also I just turned 25 and I've just been feeling very settled in the things that I enjoy, which have very little to do with drinking environments. Yeah. I love to work out. I love to go outside. I love to play golf. Those are the things that I enjoy. Like on my birthday, if I could put together my perfect day, it would be more of those things and not like at a club being drunk.
Yeah.
So it's just my preference. And then I kind of doubled down and I listened to the Huberman Lab podcast on it. And that I probably shouldn't have done that because honestly, I was already not
tell me
feeling
more.
it.
I've never heard of this. What is it?
I don't want to reiterate everything on the podcast, but I do think everybody should listen to that podcast. It should be like a mandatory, you need to know the effects of alcohol in the body because I just didn't even know. Mm-hmm. I intuited, everybody knows you'll have a hangover. I didn't understand the lasting effects of alcohol. I didn't understand the cancer risk compared to cigarettes, same or worse. But we learn about cigarettes as the worst thing. I'm pretty sure on the podcast it mentions that the equivalent of one drink to cigarettes, there's a bunch of studies with slightly different outcomes, but it ranges from 10 to 14 cigarettes. Mm-hmm. We don't think about alcohol that way.
No, not at all.
Your breast cancer risk goes up anywhere between 4 to 14% per 10 grams of alcohol, which is less than a beer. Okay, that's too much. That. And I'm it's more so just the fact that I feel ill-informed. I had previously felt ill-informed. And it's just I think the majority of people who consume alcohol, it's just it's uninformed consent. We don't talk about it that much. It affects fertility. It affects anxiety. Even people talk about anxiety. Mm-hmm. It affects your anxiety and your cortisol levels and your ability to manage stress way after the day after drinking. Mm-hmm. So if you're a chronic drinker and if you define chronic as one drink per week, which is not a lot for most people, but just chronic in the sense that it's consistent. Yeah. You have a harder time managing anxiety and it's just affects everything across the board. So I'm
it's called the Huberman
Lab. Dr. Huberman, if I'm not mistaken, is a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford University. He has a really great health and wellness podcast, science-based tools for everyday living. Yeah. It's my favorite podcast ever.
Is it?
Yeah. I could listen every episode all day long. I just love learning.
Oh, I love
sciencey
that
stuff. I'm very into it.
Are you a podcast listener? When you are doing housework or going for walks? Are you always listening to podcasts or?
I'm getting more into it. I'm a very informational, like educational podcast person. I don't usually put stuff on in the background. Like it's either like a book that I want to read or a podcast that I want to like learn from. Yeah.
Well, Kim has had quite a taste for tequila in the last
really
year.
Didn't have to bring this up. I'm not much of a drinker either, to be honest.
I was a tequila girl.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a drinker.
I've taken plenty of shots.
I have to be honest with you. It started at one of Tori's events, and it's just kind of kept on going.
Yeah. Well, you know what? A lot of people feel that it like loosens you up, although it's incredibly inflammatory and you'll have more injury like later on. And a lot of people also use it to like go to sleep, even though it really, really affects your quality.
I actually am hearing more people say it fucks with their sleep.
Oh, wait, that was what got me to stop drinking, because I got the Oura Ring and I was looking at my sleep, and for like a week in a row, the first week that I had it, my sleep score was like 95. I'm like, wow, I'm a great sleeper. One night at dinner, I had 2 glasses of wine. My sleep score is 65.
You're competitive, so you're like,
what's
going on?
What? And like, I was shocked, because you think like, oh, I have a couple glasses of wine, I'm loosened up, it helps me relax, I'm going to go to sleep. Your sleep quality sucks.
Yeah.
No,
You just got an Oura Ring, didn't you?
Well, it's not working correctly.
Oh.
It won't charge. I mean, it's not the expensive one. It's a cheaper one, and I'm wondering.
Oh, it's not the Oura brand?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's another brand. Okay.
Yeah, it's just something, Pat got. But I sleep very well. I get 9 hours of sleep almost every night.
Oh, my God.
But I take a lot of medication at night.
That might help with that.
To sleep.
Oh, dear.
I take magnesium now.
Well, magnesium is good. I take magnesium, and I take ibuprofen and Tylenol and marijuana gummies. See, you'll learn this in about 25 years. They don't tell you growing up that all the things that you participate in as a child, all the sports, the ski, whatever, and then sometimes your job, depending on what it is, that when you turn 50, everything goes to shit.
I know. Well,
See,
my
I've heard
dad's
40 though, and now you're
I
saying
really
50.
didn't notice until 50.
Well, did you do yoga?
Are you kidding? I can barely touch the ground.
Exactly.
No, I started doing Pilates.
Okay.
And I really liked Pilates, and I saw the Pilates you go to has an interesting little machine in it.
Oh, yeah. I actually just tried that kind. I don't think I liked it that much.
I had to quit going because Pilates does a lot of shoulder stuff, and I have real bad shoulders. I mean, this one's been operated on twice.
Wouldn't that mean we're doing more shoulder stuff?
Pilates does a lot of shoulder stuff. So now I go to a place called the Exercise Coach, and I don't do anything overhead. But
I think Pilates could be the hardest workout there is.
I
That
actually
and
just
bar.
learned that I haven't been doing Pilates. I've been doing Legree.
you've been doing what?
I've never even heard of that.
Okay, so I was like, I love Pilates. I go to Solid Core. I go to Burn, whatever. It's not Pilates. It's Legree, which is like really strong strength training that goes to second stage muscle failure. And that is like where you get the quakes,
Oh, yeah.
I thought that's what Pilates was, just because it also has like a reformer type of situation. But Pilates is apparently, because I've also done Pilates classes, I was like, wow, this class was really different, like very easy.
Yeah.
Pilates is more like regenerative, like restorative.
Well, in core, they work.
They work your core, but it's a little bit more. You're not doing any muscle until it fails. It's not like strength training. So Solid Core and a couple other places, it's a form of Pilates, sort of similar, but like different concepts. It's called Legree.
The B25 again.
Love it. Great for golf.
All right, let's talk about
Yeah.
your work with Adidas.
Yeah.
And how that comes about. Like, what were you guys doing? Tell me about 500 Club. How does that?
Yeah, so I'm basically just a brand partner of Adidas. Like on social media, you make branded content
Yeah,
here
you
and
do
there.
a great job.
Yeah, so they're basically just, thank you. They're basically just one of my brand partners. So I'm signed with them for the year. So I basically just have like deliverables with them and different.
So they send you clothes?
They send me clothes and shoes, but I'm not like exclusive with them or anything like that. It's just like I'll go to these events with them and brand trips, I guess, or what, if you've seen a lot of brand trips. Yeah. So it's basically a brand trip this year centered around the launch of these golf shoes, which is the S2G, which I've trashed because I've worn them this entire week. The S2G golf shoes.
Those look comfortable and they look like normal running shoes, They're
They're styled after one of Adidas' like old running shoes. They feel like an ultra boost to me. I love them. I don't have to say that either. I'm not contracted to say that.
So tell me about 500 Club. They brought all the brand partners together to do a scramble.
Yeah, it was really fun.
How was that?
Freezing cold, raining.
Yeah. So were you expecting to come to Arizona and, have 80-degree weather? And
Yeah, I was. This is what I packed.
Well, you could have been in Colorado because I was supposed to have gone up to Colorado this last weekend for a funeral. And I didn't go. And it's a good thing Greeley got 13.5 inches of snow.
I know, but we expect Colorado to have snow.
Yeah.
No. I mean, but I had friends that came down for the waste management. I said, well, sorry about our weather, but you could be at home.
February is always iffy. There's always a couple weeks in February that are just...
I feel like that's fine in general if you live here. But if you're like coming from out of state.
No, it's brutal.
Yeah. But we still had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we didn't finish. At least my group did not finish. We had 3 holes left. I think one group of the scramble stuck it out.
Oh, just because it just got way too cold and rainy?
It started sideways, pouring rain.
Oh,
so this was at the 500 Club?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to play in the ladies' league. It was Thursdays at the 500 Club every week. Did you ever play in the 500 Club?
I've never played the 500
ladies'
Club.
league?
I've never
it's a lot
ever
of fun.
played there.
If you're a listener in Phoenix and you're looking for another league and you're open on Thursdays, it is such a fun group up there. And that course it's got some teeth to it. I haven't played it in a while. What did you think?
I liked it a lot. We played from like red tees.
So you were way up.
Yeah, we shot 4 under with so many birdie putts. But it was fun. It was definitely one of those days where I felt like I wasn't really taking in the course because we were like under umbrellas rushing to putt.
You didn't even care.
Yeah, so it was just a matter of staying warm and like trying to get some content and having fun. But we did have a great time. I hit it pretty well out there. Would return.
All right. And the other thing I wanted to touch on today was your Pro-Am at Bradenton Country Club.
Yes.
So my parents are actually members at Bradenton Country Club. So I've played there numerous times.
Yeah.
It always eats me up. I don't know what it is. Those greens, it looks easy. So you're like going out there and you think that you're going to shoot, 70 and I end up shooting 84.
Yeah.
So how was that whole experience? I know through your social media, you were implying that you might have been a little nervous. What was it like? What was it like going into it?
So, no, let's back up. So you held a Pro-Am.
I played in the LPGA Pro-Am before the Drive-On Championship day.
Oh, okay.
Which was at Bradenton Country Club.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was nervous.
Who'd you play with?
I played with, Lilia Vu.
Oh.
She's actually number 1 right now.
Number 1 player in the world.
Super nice. Very impressive. Very serious, which I understand because she was treating it as, a
practice round.
So I didn't want to get in the way there, but
That's supposed to be serious.
no. But yeah, I was nervous, but not anxious. Like if we were to define there, I think that makes a big difference. And I had a really great time. It was really fun to kind of just be back in that environment and see those girls again, because a lot of them I did see like growing up in junior golf. So it's really fun to kind of do what I do now in a way that supports them. Because I went through a phase where it was just like heartbreaking to, not be one of them. But I really do feel like I've landed kind of where I need to land in the golf industry and to support them, which is such a good feeling. And yeah, we had a great time. I played fine, it was a shamble. So.
Oh, it was a shamble?
So that's where you pick the best drive and then everybody plays their ball in, their own ball.
Yep.
It's interesting that a Pro-Am has a format. It's not just like
and plus our pro, Lilia wanted to
most of these are probably scrambles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just to help it go faster. Except I've noticed that scrambles don't necessarily go that fast.
The BMW Pro-Am was, I think, just like lowest score in the best ball. Yeah, which I really enjoyed because I actually got to play Olympia Fields and like play my ball.
Did you get to play Riviera? Well, that was probably today, though, the Pro-Am.
No, I played Riviera a couple weeks ago at the Genesis Invitational Preview Day. So they invited out like a bunch of the Genesis partners just to like get content on the course.
So do you get to play in all these for free? I'm jealous.
Fortunately, yes. I'm very grateful.
I'm jealous.
It's been quite the ride.
Well, it's her job though. So in the Bradenton and the Drive-On Championship, the LPGA, did the LPGA bring you out to do content then?
I didn't have any deliverables.
Oh,
but I think they probably knew that I wasn't going to not make content on that.
Yeah.
So, I would love to be a longer term partner of the LPGA just because I think there's so much opportunity for growth there, and those girls work so hard. I want to see them get the recognition and the fan base that they deserve. So
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, that's kind of a goal of mine this year. And even lower level, I don't even want to call it lower level, but like I would love to support the Espon Tour. I'd love to support Ladies European Tour. Just driving interest to professional women's golf because they work so hard and it is such a grind. And you have to like really invest a lot of your own money to do that. So any way that I can be a good partner to all of them is kind of just a long-term goal of mine.
Can you explain to the listener what a deliverable is? Just so, because you keep saying that word and I want to make sure they know what you're talking about.
Yeah, a deliverable could be basically any sort of social content. So if I get invited to, let's say they did have me contracted for a deliverable, they say, hey, we'd love for you to come to the LPGA Pro-Am at Bradenton Country Club. We're looking for 1 Instagram reel and 1 TikTok. And then I would, negotiate from there.
Exactly.
But that's what a deliverable is.
Okay. So what were you nervous about?
Oh, what was I nervous about? Isn't that so funny when you really think about it?
No, totally. Because I have a playing with Hannah Gregg next week, and I find myself getting nervous. I find myself saying to Hannah Gregg, she's a pro. She trains down at Whirlwind. She was on the podcast a while ago. And I'm like, why are you nervous? You tell people all the time.
It has to do with like your expectation. I really think it has to do with the expectation of like what you believe is valuable in the world. I really do. That's what it boils down to. At least I'll speak from my personal experience, because having grown up alongside a lot of these girls, not having competed directly in a long time, it's very hard for me to feel like, if not for being the best player there, what do I bring to the table? Like, how else do you gain the respect of others, you know? And so I think what it boils down to is like, that has to come from obviously within. If you respect yourself, you care less about forcing others to see you a certain way and forcing yourself to rely on performance or, whatever it is. Everybody has their thing. So I guess that's what I was nervous about. It's like, for me, it's embarrassing to play poorly at golf. And that's just so deeply ingrained inside of me. I think there's always going to be that aspect to it because it's something people expect me to be good at and they have my whole life, So I guess that's what I'm nervous about. But at the end of the day, like, everybody wants to compete. Everybody wants to play well. Everybody wants to be liked and respected and all the things. And I think as long as you're focusing on that coming from, not to be corny, but like legitimately from within, do you respect yourself? Do you like yourself? Do you think you're worthy of good things in life? Do you consider yourself to be a hard worker? If you can check all those boxes, I think that anxiety day of under pressure for whatever you do, golf, corporate world, whatever, I think that's easy.
But a little nervousness is good. Not for necessarily the what you're talking about, but to be a little nervous gives you a little bit more maybe adrenaline and excitement that about what you're going to do.
Sometimes. So like nervousness, yes, I would agree is good. If you are speaking from a psychological standpoint, you would have to differentiate anxiety and nerves, which is what I touched on earlier. A little bit of anxiety is just simply not good for performance. And the difference is in how your brain's operating. So when you are experiencing anxiety versus nerves, you feel a lot of the same physical symptoms, right? And the thing is, your body's kind of detecting this threat, right? And so the way your body works is you start to actually pump blood faster from this like center region of your body. Your heart starts pumping faster and it starts pumping blood to your extremities so you can actually run away from the threat faster. That's like legitimately what happens, right? Your palms get sweaty and your body temperature heats up. That happens with both nerves and anxiety. But the difference is when you have nerves, your brain is still operating on low frequency brain waves. Your prefrontal cortex remains online. It remains intact. You're able to think clearly. You have a little bit of extra adrenaline, but you are in the driver's seat, right? Versus, and this may resonate, when you're experiencing anxiety, what happens, the basal ganglia, which is like a region of the brain near the brainstem, that's responsible for like kind of your anxious reactions when you detect a serious life-threatening situation, which we're incredibly inaccurate at detecting those these days, because when are we actually like at risk of dying, right? When the alarm in the basal ganglia sounds, what commonly happens is your prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thought and decision-making, just goes offline, right? So you're no longer thinking clearly. Everything suddenly feels like it's moving very fast around you. Neurotransmitters are disrupted. So legitimately, and this is what we know about the yips, the mind-muscle connection and the decision-making is so off. Like everything feels fast. You feel the need to rush decisions. You feel like, have you ever felt like you physically forget to hold a golf club? Like you don't know how to, like you haven't made contact with the ball before. I don't know if you've
or
ever...
just what you just said of like you can't slow down pretty much. Like you just,
your brain feels like it's going like this and everything around you is operating so quickly. So I think as an athlete and a person in general, it's very important to be able to differentiate if you're experiencing nerves, which is good, versus anxiety, which is like you are in the back seat being flailed around in this like self-driving car.
So I can relate in the fact that I think I'm nervous when I play golf, not anxious. But when I was a police officer, it's anxiety because it's that fight or flight syndrome that you come into when you are on different types of calls and you don't know. It's more afraid of the unaware, you don't.
Well, you're probably actually at risk. And it's funny because people will develop like perceived risk. And so that's why like everybody can have an anxious reaction, even in the silliest of scenarios, just based on your life experiences. And my life experience puts a lot of emphasis on my performance at golf. So I've kind of just created this extremely embedded belief system that like, if not for being a good golfer, what am I? There is a very real threat to that, like not going well. So that's where performance anxiety comes in. And that's where I think there's a lot to lose. And that can be for, any athlete, but any job even.
Do you feel that tie at all, Kim, where you worry about not performing almost?
I don't think I worry about it, but I think I'm pretty hard on myself when I don't perform what I feel are acceptable standards, which are pretty low. I mean, I feel I should be playing good all the time.
Yeah.
But then again, I have to think that this is golf and that never happens. You never play good all the time.
This is a healthy example.
Oh, Kim Eaton, the healthy example on
No, I'm not a healthy example of anything.
All right, so let's get on to the genesis. So how did that come about? You're going to go straight to LA from here?
I leave tomorrow morning.
So exciting.
So do you have to have deliverables there?
I do have deliverables there.
Okay, so tell us about it. And do you plan it out ahead of time, or are you just kind of going on a whim? What do you?
No, yeah, very planned. Everything will kind of be communicated and negotiated with myself and the brand. So at the preview day, I had, I think, 2 deliverables, a story and a video or something, where I like vlogged the preview day and I made a story. And then when I go to the actual event this week, I will be making a vlog of the tournament and like the Genesis booth or whatever that we'll be in, just kind of driving interest. The whole point is to drive interest in the tournament.
Yeah.
So
do you ever talk to the players?
I don't think I will be talking to the players. I mean, it's possible if I run into them, but I don't have any deliverables that are like interview the players. In fact, they cannot be included in the deliverables.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of like media rights with PGA Tour and Genesis. So like my whole vlog cannot include any course content, actually.
In your deliverables, you can't have any video of the players playing.
Wow, that is interesting.
Because the PGA Tour owns all rights.
So you have to go vlog about a golf tournament, but not show the golf.
Well, the Genesis themselves are putting on so many cool things.
Yes.
Where I can show like the food that we're getting and I can kind of voice it over or just talk about
activations.
Yeah, I can talk about the tournament.
Yeah.
So it'll just kind of be me and what I'm wearing and food I'm eating and having fun.
No, I love it. So when I said plan, do you plan out your content ahead of time? Like, do you have kind of an idea of what the outline's going to be?
Oh, yes, because we do have to get concepts approved.
Okay.
So so I'll say, for example, I'll say I'd love to do an outfit of the day video standing in front of the Genesis branding sign, something like that. Or I'd love to do a vlog showcasing, the ride in the Genesis car, arriving to Riviera, going to the Genesis booth and eating all the food. And maybe I'll voice it over talking about how much I loved watching the tournament here.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, I like that concept or I don't like that concept. And we'll kind of go back and forth until we arrive on an idea that we're
And so
aligned
now
with.
who decides that, Genesis or Adidas?
Adidas is not involved in this partnership at all.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's just Genesis.
Yeah.
Yep. Separate partners.
Okay. And then who is videotaping you? You have Davis.
Yeah, Davis.
So he's meeting you there?
Yes, he
So
is.
is Davis the one behind the camera most of the time? Oh my God, I love him for that.
Davis is my executive assistant.
So my assistant, Ashley, I try and get her to engage and do like a Davis role. But the problem is that she doesn't like golf that much. So it's like, I'm trying to plan all this LPGA stuff for when they come to town at the end of March. And I'm like, oh my God, if Ashley is there with me the whole time, she'll be rolling her eyes and she'll be like handing like the camera. Like I need a Davis in my life.
Well, sometimes Davis likes it a little bit too much and he'll be like his job is to film, right? Yeah. And he gets a little too supportive and he'll be just watching like this, holding the camera. And the camera starts to drift. And he's like, wow, great shot, Hale. And I'm like, Davis, you didn't get that. Like, I look back on it and it's just him like, wow, that was a great shot. The camera's like at the ground. Like, okay, we need to lock in a little bit.
Well, can't Everardo do that for you?
Yeah, Everardo came to California with me. He's done a lot of stuff, but I'm thinking about Pat even videotaping you at times lately. Because, Kim's picked up her Instagram game. Wouldn't you say, Kim?
Yeah, tequila shots.
Yeah, so it's a different kind of partner.
Yeah.
So are you looking forward to how was playing Riviera?
Amazing. Really amazing. It was also rainy that day in LA. So I didn't get to finish there either. We got pulled off I didn't get to play number 10 because I started on 13 and I think we played like a little bit more than 9 holes. I think we got 12 holes in. So, but it was in incredible shape. The rough was brutal. The course was not as much as it was raining there when I was there. The course was not like soaked or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be in incredible condition. I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah. Are you staying the entire weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you get and if you do get any inspiration on your content, are you just kind of trying to find your way and has it changed over time or?
Yeah. So when I first started making golf content, I hated golf. So I wasn't absorbing much golf content. And I think I made it a point early on, like I know people always say find content creators that you like and kind of model things after them. I definitely did that, but I found that it basically just ends up being like copy, paste, and everybody's the same, especially in the golf industry. And until recently, until I started going on these trips and actually meeting these other golf creators in person, I didn't follow any of them because I was actually concerned that I was just going to make like more of the same content.
Or start to sound like them.
And it's like not intentional and it's nobody's fault if that happens either because like I think it's just a subconscious phenomenon that happens, but it's so hard to think of your own ideas. It's just like groupthink. So I try not to pull any inspiration, honestly, from anybody in the golf world. I do pull inspiration from accounts outside of my niche because then automatically when I apply it to my niche, it is my own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of creators that I love. My favorite creator ever, I hope I meet her one day, is Sydney Adams. Not a lot of people know her, but she's just like a lifestyle fitness creator out of Tampa. And I just love her account. I think she's a very genuine human. I love the strategy that she applies across all platforms. And
oh my God, have you told her how much you love her?
Oh yeah. I'm on everything.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And I'm working with her like web designer, brand designer now too. So I may run into her eventually, but point being that like I've tried really not to get any of my inspo. I'm sure I have. I shouldn't say like if another creator is watching this, like I definitely have taken from you guys, I'm sure, or ideas have crossed over, but I try to pull from either other areas or I just like do what feels right to me.
Yeah. Because I try and do the same thing. Even you, I've been following you this whole past week because you're in town and I wanted to have something relevant to talk about today.
Yeah.
But I find it that if I start watching golf content creators and influencers, I don't want to sound like them. Like I want to sound like me.
Yeah.
And so I do the same.
Yeah. And it's difficult because I want to support everybody, especially once I meet them. Mm-hmm. So like I always follow and stuff, but yeah, I don't always like actually want to watch all the content, unfortunately.
What would you say is the hardest part of your job?
Honestly, the hardest part of my job is probably filming a crappy round of golf. It is really hard for me. Like I really struggle. I want to pick up, and my followers know this too. I found a lot of relief in just like being honest. I sometimes just want to pick up my golf ball and leave.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, it's for them. Like
I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
I know. And like, if you're just out there to film, it's very tempting to be like, today's not good. Let's start over.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a huge adjustment, but honestly, like I've helped myself and my followers out with, I hate calling them followers, I don't know why, my community out with that just by voicing how I'm feeling. I hate it here. I hate it here and I want to go home, but let's keep trying this out just to show you guys that bad golf happens a lot. So that's kind of been my goal. But yeah, that was really tough, especially because like I was in a tough place with golf when I first got into content. So,
and last time we talked was last May. I think.
Yeah.
So what has changed since last May?
Exposure therapy, just exposing myself to like my most anxious environments constantly, which is and I think I've played down like a couple, maybe not competitive events, but like a couple pro-ams and just like events actually where I'm not just out there by myself. And I think that's kind of just exposed me to that environment a little bit where I realized like, I'm at these events because of the community that I've built and the impact that I want to have on the industry, not because of how I play. Would I like to play good? Yeah. But like...
So why don't you play in tournaments?
I actually am. I'm going to start playing in tournaments this year.
Like amateur tournaments?
Amateur tournaments, yes. I think I'm going to start with some 4-balls. Just inch my way back in there. If you guys can't tell, I like very low responsibility. Like, so I'm going to just like incrementally increase my responsibility on the golf course to complete a full 18 holes with my own golf ball. That's very scary, but I'm going to do some 4-balls with Sarah Winter. Great person. I absolutely love her. I'm staying with her right now. She didn't play college golf, but she's just like picked it up and she works so hard and she's just like obsessed with getting good and her swing's incredible.
And she's from Arizona?
No. She's kind of a nomad. She's Miss Canada, actually. She's from literally. She was Miss Canada. Yeah, she's amazing. So she's from Canada, but she spends a lot of time in the States. She'll spend like winters in Scottsdale and Florida and stuff. So she's kind of she's a nomad.
So where'd you go to college?
Elon, North Carolina, smaller school.
So it's interesting. I just had Gabby Powell on too, and she says it along the lines of, I have to play around for score or around to score. And it's like, does keeping score or posting a score, is that where some anxiety comes from? Or some,
yes. And also, I've never posted a score. How my handicap is that? I don't. I think my dad is my, like, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that would sound like the majority of college kids.
Yeah, because I've never had, in my personal golf career, I've never needed a handicap. The only reason I ever had a handicap is because I learned to play golf in my dad's skins group. And that's like where I grew up. So he kept my handicap just so I'd be eligible to play in the skins group. And
I love that your dad did that.
And then he kept doing it because when he moved to Florida, I would go down there and play in that skins group. So I always, that's the only thing I've ever legitimately needed a handicap for. But like in junior golf, you don't need a handicap. In college golf, you don't need a handicap. In amateur golf,
you do.
Maybe now I need a handicap.
You do.
So yeah,
they'll be asking you for your gym number.
Yep. So I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, keeping my score is tough. And I think I need to like stop keeping my score as I'm going and just like, I don't know.
But do you think avoiding it is going to make it any?
No, like I said, I need exposure therapy.
You need exposure therapy. Just keep the score, damn it.
I need to see a 95 on a scorecard and be like, well, I tried my best, like I need to see that and know that life goes on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure life would go on.
No. It wasn't too long ago. It was less than 2 years ago that I was playing my best golf. And I, just got second place in the Arizona Mid-Am. And I go into this big tournament called the Southwestern. And the first round, I fucking posted a 95. Oh. No joke. And I'm playing with Grace Summerhays, who shot the lowest round of that day. So you had Grace with a 66, me with a 95. And it was...
My heart's beating.
Yeah, it was a lot. It will stay with me forever. But if that is worst case scenario, which
but what if it gets to like, triple digits? We're so close to triple digits. See how my brain
I know.
I'm like, but what if that's not worst case scenario? What if I can do even worse?
No, it was quite an experience. And you know what? I survived. And it's just, I felt like I had to go through that. And I've had plenty of other embarrassing rounds in my day that are not anything to be proud of in my expectations and in my world. But it's like I have had that exposure therapy too.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, I've posted some embarrassing college rounds. got kicked off my team, and here I am today.
There you are.
And I got back on my team, for those who haven't heard the whole story. But here we are. Life sure went on.
Yeah. What's next for you? Because again, in May, we were talking about starting a podcast. And so things have changed or pivoted. So what do you have planned? Tell us some things.
Sounds like she's getting married.
Oh, yes. Well, we know that. Sorry. Congratulations.
I'm getting married. Not till 2025. I haven't planned anything. Not a huge planner. YouTube is next. I've decided to go. I would love to podcast. I could talk all day long. Pivoting to YouTube right now.
Okay, so
I
that's
think there's
interesting.
more opportunity right now in YouTube and more demand for YouTube from me personally.
So I've actually heard from a lot of people in high golf places in this industry say the same thing. They said YouTube, you get 20,000 followers on YouTube that are dedicated to you, and you're going to be making a better living off of most people.
It's hard for me to believe because I'm not a YouTube watcher. I never have been.
Me neither.
So I'm like, who the hell would watch a 25-minute video? Like,
Well, even longer than
even
that.
longer. I can't even imagine.
And are we talking these videos are instructional or just whatever?
Whatever.
Well, they're creative. It's exactly, but it's to a creative point where you're making it.
So more so than YouTube, just because you mentioned instruction, I am creating a beginner swing series.
Okay.
And that will be available on my website, hopefully by like spring or early summer. So I am 3 videos into that. I think it's going to be like 11 total, just starting with grip, setup, takeaway, part 2, backswing, all the things. So I'm going to make that. And that will be just a full swing series. So that'll be unrelated to YouTube, just its own thing that you can purchase. And then my YouTube, I just want to be a very, very my really only incentive to YouTube is to allow my community in a little bit more, because it's hard to do that with short form. I have to cut so much. So I just want them to see me go through a little bit more of this journey of getting back a little bit into competitive golf. And ideally, I think it might be hard in some, if I played in a USGA qualifier, I don't think they're really going to want my caddy to be my camera crew, but we'll see what we can get away with. I don't know.
Ooh, that might not turn out too good. My question is, and it's come up several times with you, not people have asked me, how do you get away with doing instructional videos, selling them, and not be considered a golf professional?
Well, I don't sell swing technique videos.
Why would I not be considered a golf professional? Because
it's a fine line between when you teach swing technique and then you exchange money for that. Then you're forfeiting your amateur status. So there's a fine line. So my programs that I've sold,
content creator though?
Well, my programs that I've sold in the past have all been practice programs. So they're not swing technique involved. But I went to the USGA and I said, here's my stuff. Please make sure this is approved, because I don't want to risk that.
If you want to play in tournaments, you might do that same thing.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
Just make sure, because
I would have to speak with the USGA.
Yeah, you just have to get someone to say, oh, no, you're fine. You can.
Yeah. And I think I could. I've worked with them a lot, over the years. So I'm sure I could reach out, but that's interesting. See, the swing series, it is golf instruction, but it's going to be so baseline for just girls to have somebody that they trust to start working.
And if you were to give that away as a freebie, then it doesn't matter. It's always that exchange of money.
Interesting. But not that you're competing for money.
No.
So, and I didn't even know that.
Well, I was a golf professional a long time ago. And
Cop, golf professional.
What can I say? Pretty similar in some respects. But so people now, they're always like, well, give me a lesson. And I'm like, it's an ethical thing with me. That's what the guys I got my amateur status back in 91. I played the mini tour. I taught, was in the golf business and for 7 or 8 years and then got my amateur status back. So now people ask me, why don't you give me a lesson? And I'm like, it's really not ethical of me to be standing up on the range giving you a lesson when the pros at that club, that's how they make their living, that's how they make part of their living.
I see the dilemma.
So that's a big ethical thing for me. Now, if I'm out playing with somebody and they, then I'll tell them a few tips and stuff. But it's very hard for me to go up on the driving range and just sit there and tell people. And that's the other thing that I don't understand. Speaking of that, these LPGA teaching pros, even retired playing pros who now are teaching, which is fine. But then now, since they have nothing to play in, they want to come play in like our league's team plays and stuff like that. And I have a real issue with that.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, but that's still, if you're a professional,
I know.
It's interesting because I'm not like certified in any way.
Yeah.
Right.
Other than my golf experience, I'm no more certified as a professional than I would otherwise be.
Trust me, and I'm not trying to step on any toes, but there's probably a lot of golf pros out there that have no experience.
Oh, yeah, there are.
Yeah.
There are. And that was like, I had a lot of imposter syndrome with that because this series, I did not just want to make this. I've avoided golf instruction for so long because I just like don't trust myself. But that's changed a lot. I've had to kind of step into the role a little bit because I've just been asked so many times. They're like, I can't find a female coach. I can't find a female coach on YouTube. I'm so confused when I go on YouTube. Everything's so can you just like make can you just package this up with a bow on it?
Yeah.
So we can learn from you. And so that's what I have decided to do. Good. I mean, good. I didn't even think about that, but I'll check with somebody at the USGA for sure.
It's a weird.
Yeah, that is very strange because it doesn't necessarily say anything about your ability to compete, but I guess just the terminology of everything is relevant in this case.
Yeah, and again, content creation has gotten so much bigger in the past couple of years.
Well, and it's hard to know anymore, because now look at all these people. They can make all this money in NIL. If you could never do that before, else you would be considered a pro. To give you a great idea, I won, this was probably 2009. They had this, it was called the Chrysler Club Champions Championship. And it was down at Tiburon in Naples. And they had qualifiers and you had to win a regional and then whatever to go. So I qualify and I go. Well, the winners, the male and the female winners, always got a spot in the Bob Hope Desert Classic Pro-Am. And I thought, that's cool. Because I worked at Bermuda Dunes Country Club, which used to be one of the golf courses that they played the Bob Hope on. Well, in a couple years past, those people that have won the tournament and got to go to the Pro-Am, they got sets of clubs, they got all this stuff. And the USGA said, no, that's a violation.
Interesting.
So that year I win it. They said, well, yeah, you can go play in the Bob Hope Desert Classic Pro-Am if you want to relinquish your amateur status. Or we'll give you a $750 gift card.
You can't just consider content creators professional golfers just because they make money on golf. It's
exactly. That's
so
why
they're going to have to just reevaluate at some point.
Yeah, and they might have already have, and I just don't.
Yeah, I never really thought of content creators.
Yeah, even though you absorb content on a daily basis, you just don't realize it. Okay, so YouTube. So what about pivoting towards YouTube? What about it? What interests you? Yeah. Well, no, I guess YouTube is very intimidating to me.
Oh, me too.
Because I feel like you need like this whole camera crew and editors and
yeah, you do.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be a very slow start because I'm filming and editing everything pretty much on my own, unless Davis is free. But Davis' season is about to start, so he's gonna be playing football for the next 4 months. So
is that your fiance?
Yep. So he's about to leave for his season, and I don't know. I may hire people here and there to help me out. I may travel with other friends like Sarah. We can help each other. Yeah. But as far as the editing goes, it's expensive for somebody to edit a video. I've looked into a couple people to help me out, and I'm going to really, really do my best to be as consistent as possible, even if it's not like the best. It's not going to be the best content out there, but it is going to be a kind of fly on the wall perspective of my life past golf, like just a little bit, basically exactly everything I post now, my workouts, my life, behind the scenes, golf, golf is honestly at this point like 50%. So just going to be a longer view into that.
Do you know Nick Bear? He's a fitness influencer and he does YouTube. And that's where he started. And again, I don't go to YouTube a lot either, but for whatever reason, I found Nick Bear and I'll go in and check his stuff out.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, wow, this is so well done. And I just picture like videographers following him around all day. I'm like, how is...
So it doesn't have to be that way. I think especially in the golf and even the fitness world, we see this like super high level content that is fun to watch sometimes. But you could also draw inspo from like just vloggers, you know, like Sydney Adams is, like I said, somebody I get a lot of inspiration from. And she's always kind of just propping up the camera. Is it always the best angle? No. But like you kind of just feel like you're in the room.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that it's not always a perfect angle.
I'm going to be like Sydney Adams.
Yeah, I just love her. I really do. Like, I think she's super, super smart in how she does social media. And she doesn't, I mean, I'm speaking just as a viewer, maybe she does, but it doesn't seem like she has much like paralysis by analysis, you know, like she just posts it. And her YouTube has grown a lot and she edits it all herself as far as I know. And it's just kind of like thrown together. But one of the strategies I've noticed on her end, who knows if it's intentional, she reposts a lot of UGC, people like, you know, tagging her saying like watching Sydney Adams YouTube this morning. Everything she reposts of people watching her YouTube is like Sydney Adams on while I do my makeup, Sydney Adams on while I clean the house, which makes everybody finish the video and it just plays to the next one. So it's not this like active, like engaged, super gamified, typical content. It's just her life and you're a fly on the wall. So she's living her life. You're living yours. You're cleaning the house. You're vacuuming. You're doing your makeup. You're getting ready. And it's just like kind of a friend on in the background. Feels like you're on FaceTime a little bit. And I think that's probably going to be my style for a while.
What would you have done if social media was around?
Well, I don't know, but you know, one of your viewers, sorry, there's a gnat.
There is one fly in here that's been visiting.
You know,
us.
they said, oh, Kim, you should do your own podcast. And I'm like, there is no way. I wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Oh my God, stop.
Okay.
That could be my most annoying thing that people say is when, you know, I ask them to be on and they say I'm not interesting.
Well, I didn't say I wasn't interesting. I said I don't know if I would have enough to talk about to do this regularly.
Yeah.
I mean, to be a host like you and get people all the time.
I mean, I could babble all day. I would love to have a podcast. I really would. But I can only do so much before I have to hire people. And so I've just been trying to get things off the ground and take it one step at a time and not get ahead of myself because that's something I tend to do. So just one step at a time, starting small and going where the demand is like kind of my priority right now.
I love it. So let's end with golf. Okay. So let's fast forward 2-3 months. You've signed up for your first 4-ball. How are you going to prepare for it? How do you think you have to prepare for it? And more of how you're going to realistically prepare for it. Because again, coming from college golf, I know that you are getting thousands and thousands of reps in weekly. So how do you now go into training for a first competitive event and balancing what you think you have to do or making yourself do and more enjoying the process?
I don't think I'm going to be preparing in any special way. I work all day, every day. So like if I'm filming golf content, I think my preparation will be to make the filming a little bit secondary in my mind and just focus a little bit more on practicing. That's going to mostly just be a mental shift though. So anytime I'm going to the course to get some work done, I will also just be a little bit more focused on and intentional about what I'm working on. But no, I don't think I'm going to be like, I'm physically not able to just start training like I did in college, nor am I even interested in that. I want this to just be pretty low pressure, fun, play with a friend and, you know, see where it takes me. If I get to the point where like this stuff grows and I can start hiring people to help me with other things, I'd love to do that. So I could focus a little bit more on just competitive golf again. But first and foremost, I see my role as a ambassador to the game. You know, like that is my primary purpose and job. So my play, I don't think is like, I'd love to play great, but I think it's going to be like, you know, see how the day goes type of thing. And I constantly play golf. It's not like I don't have a club in my hand frequently. So I'll just try to be more intentional in the times that I do. And hopefully we get some muscle memory coming back to work for me. I don't know.
Okay, tell me 3 amazing things about your golf game and 1 thing you have to work on.
I definitely need to work on those awkward, like 40 to 60 yard pitch shots.
Okay, that's all you get?
Chunk them every time.
So then tell me the 3 really good things.
Hit it pretty far off the tee.
Yeah?
Yeah, she does, from what I saw in some of those Instagram photos.
All right, come on, tell us some numbers.
I think I am averaging my driver right now like 265, 270.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
She.
Yeah.
Of course it's a she.
She's pretty good, so I love that. My mental game, I think, has improved a ton. I think I have better ways to regulate and get in the zone and enjoy myself. And I think that's going to pay dividends when it comes to performance. And I have made a lot of swing adjustments. I without even realizing, I've just compared my swing from college to now. Much more sound. Yeah. Much more sound. It is so much better from when I last actually competed that I'm like, okay, we can do something with this. If I could compete on a Division I level with that swing, I don't even know how I made contact. I literally don't. So yeah, my swing technique has improved. My driver's very far off the tee. And I think I'm a little bit calmer. I post the straight ones, huh?
At least that have the line.
That ball tracer goes straight every time, doesn't it? I'm just kidding. I try.
Our buddy Tara Bateman was caddying for Brittany Lincecum at the Drive-On Championship, and she just, she recently came back, and I was talking to her about it, and she goes, man, those girls are hitting it so far. And I mean, she's been a caddy for Brittany for a long time, back when Brittany was the longest driver on tour, and Tara herself hits a long ball. So for her to come back and just be shocked at how far these girls are hitting it. Did you see that? Like when you were there or when you go to LPG events, you're just like...
so when I played in the Pro-Am, I wasn't from the same tees as Lilia.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was kind of hard to tell. She definitely hits it farther than me and so much more consistently. My issue is the discrepancy of my good shots to bad shots are very high, right? Whereas an LPGA player, they're hitting it. Even if they average 265 off the tee, it's legitimately every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I can make up some ground. But as far as distance, I've never been super behind in distance. That's been a strong suit for a while. It's just a matter of if I get it right,
So what would be your tip for 40 to 60 yard pitch shots, those short wedge shots?
Go to a green and just hit wedges.
She can't give me tips.
She's a pro now.
Give me all your millions.
Yeah, I'll give you all my millions.
Isn't that funny though? Those 40 to 60 yarders. I mean, there's nothing you can tell yourself on the course. It's all
I have
about putting
things
those
I can
reps.
tell myself that do work. Number 1 is tempo.
Feel.
Same tempo as a full swing.
Yeah.
Because it's always like when you shorten your swing, I think it gets a little bit like jabby for me.
Yeah.
So I try to focus on tempo and really slow it down at wherever the top of my backswing lands. But yeah, she's not wrong. It's reps. You have to feel them. You have to remember what it feels like to kind of finesse those little shots and get creative. But I worked on it a little bit this week.
Jordan Spieth, creative.
Being creative about it.
He hit some wonderful shots this week that most people can't hit.
I wouldn't know. I didn't actually see any golf. Was he there?
Well, yeah, there was no room to see.
I didn't see any golf.
You were busy trying to pull down skirts.
I was fighting for my life.
Yeah, that's why I'd much rather watch anything on television.
Yeah.
Well, Haley, what you're doing is amazing. The work you're putting out is exceptional.
Thank you.
So if you're saying you're winging part of it, it doesn't show. It shows very authentic. It shows very, the quality is exceptional. And I think that you are helping just thousands and thousands of women get out on the course, feel less intimidated. You're helping them with in numerous ways.
Let me just throw this in. I think you both are doing that.
Yeah.
But I want you to give us, our listeners, a big, uncomfortable, scary goal. Something that's going to make you a little nervous saying out loud because something...
Okay, guys, wouldn't it be fun if we qualified for a USAM again? Just one.
I love that.
Let's say just a couple years down the line, I stop having panic attacks on the golf course and we can actually pull something good together. That'd be really fun. I think it would be fun, and I think it'd be really fun if you guys came out and watched. I'd feel so much more relaxed.
How about even bringing that down a notch and just the mid-am?
Yeah, I mean,
she asked for something crazy.
I
so
know,
threw
but
it
I'm
out there.
saying the mid-am is very in your wheelhouse.
Well, that's true because when I see the college girls, I'm like, oh my God, why am I even here? Like, I'm just a wash up, played at a low level, but they're always at the USAM qualifiers.
Them
So
flat bellies.
yeah,
Kim
they
calls them
are.
flat bellies.
They're great at golf, and so when I try to qualify in North Carolina, it's like Duke, UNC, everybody's there.
You absolutely belong there, so we don't need to question
The
that.
funny thing is, where I've positioned myself now in the golf world is they probably follow me, and they probably are thankful. Like I have designed my page in a way to hopefully support specifically women's college golf teams. And yet in my brain, since like it's hard to imagine all my following and stuff as real people, in my brain, those are still like my biggest competitors, and like I'm my most insecure around them.
Yeah.
Yet like my whole purpose is literally to help them. So
Yeah, and you are like they're watching you, you're helping them, and in the background,
yeah. Let's bring some humility into 2024, eh? I would love that.
love it.
Yeah.
Well,
What's your goal?
I want to qualify for the mid-am again, for sure. Now that I didn't screw up my schedule, that is definitely my top goal.
Have you qualified?
I have.
Nice.
And it was the most amazing experience. So that's why, and it was because Kimberly Eaton made me do it. I was in the same boat where I was like avoiding it a little bit.
I can't
'Cause
make
it's a scary
anybody do
day.
anything.
And also not knowing how amazing it was. Like she wanted me to experience it. And
Everybody should experience a USGA event.
yeah, so yeah, that's definitely my goal this year, and probably will always be.
Hold you to it.
All right,
Until you're 50, and then you'll have a new goal.
the U.S. senior am.
women's
So I'm
event.
now eligible for that. 'cause I'm
mid-am.
Mid,
Yeah.
I'm 25 and older.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can try and qualify for as many events as you want. You can do 4-ball, you can do mid-am.
Well, yeah, and if you're in North Carolina, I'm sure North Carolina has a state 4-ball, and
Do I have to switch my gin over to North Carolina?
yes, you probably should switch it over to wherever you're playing out of. I mean, but you have one, so that really, for a USGA event, that's really all they need. But you probably should get a couple scores posted.
When was the last time a score was?
Did you
Can you tell
I
that?
don't think Kim
I can't pull that up.
Oh, you
you
can't?
I don't.
Well, my
no.
dad posts literally every time I've ever played with him, which is a lot in my life, he posts my score. There are a lot of scores in there.
Well,
I
no,
love
they
that
go
he's
away though.
posting
They
your
go away.
scores.
But yeah, I would have to have her gin number to be able to even look that up.
Have you worked for the USGA?
No.
Oh,
She is so much. How many USGA events have you played in, Kim?
Well, I had it memorized once. Let's see, 7. I think 35.
what kind of events? Like
USGA Junior, the AM, US
you
Open.
played in the girls' junior?
1 year.
No, she's,
So the AM,
you
the
are sitting
junior,
with a
the
legend.
mid-AM, senior AM, US Open, US Senior Open, state team.
Where did you qualify for the US Open?
The first time, I'm pretty sure I probably qualified in Denver as an amateur, and it was outside of Chicago. The second time, I qualified as a pro in Indiana, and the tournament was in Cedar Ridge Country Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I made the cut.
That's so cool.
Means I made a check.
Oh, was it awesome?
And then the Senior Open was at Pine Needles.
Love Pine Needles. I won one of my first tournaments at
Oh,
Pine
you
Needles.
did?
And that's where
I have never played there.
That's where I got recruited, and it was a Peggy Kirk Bell event. So I met Peggy Kirk Bell right before she passed away. They brought her out in a chair. It was very cute. I got
Yeah. She was a pretty special woman. My mentor, myself, was Shirley Spork, who just passed away last year. And she was, like Peggy Kirk Bell, one of the original founders of the LPGA.
Yep. That's amazing. I didn't mention this yet. I would love to start hosting events. We're working on getting some sponsors together right now. So I'm going to start with one event, but whatever that turns into is definitely a long-term goal. I would love, because I have the Golf Girl Network on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen that. We have over 25,000 members or something.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get some sort of like,
in person.
yes, some sort of a league or tour, if you want to call it, going of just amateur women's golf for networking purposes. So, yeah, on that.
There's a need.
Well, and there are some already, like the Working Women's, what used to be the Executive Women's Golf Association is now the LPGA Amateur Golf Association.
Yeah, I saw them on TikTok.
Which I don't understand that and stuff, but there's a need. And if you want to come see how a good tournament is run,
Oh,
come back in March.
No. Yeah.
We're doing 2 of them, 2 weeks in a row.
I want her to get her feet wet this summer, get back into it.
Yeah.
And then, yes, I want you to come play
show
one
up
of
to
our
your
Well, I
tournaments.
don't mean necessarily play, but if she wants to run and organize, she should come see how you guys do it.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Because Tori found out that she can't play and organize a tournament at the same time.
Really?
Well,
Why
I
not?
have more. It's stressful.
Yeah, that sounds
It's
so
stressful.
much.
It's
I
much
wasn't
more fun.
planning to play. I was planning to maybe at the most ride around in a cart and hop
Exactly.
in on a hole or here.
And that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I realized that pretty quick. You have more fun. Just
See, now me, I like to organize and play, but mine
But you're
wasn't
an
quite
animal.
as big as hers.
Yeah, yours have been insane.
yeah, we have a good time.
You have an event planner?
Am I?
Do you have one?
No, I mean it's me and my team of 2.5.
You're an event planner. You want to plan my wedding?
Oh gosh. Well, I did ask you as you were walking in if you had eloped, because again, I haven't tuned in a while, so I'm like, maybe she's already married. I'm not sure. And I was thinking to myself, and really, you and Pat eloped to Pebble Beach.
We didn't elope.
I feel like you did, but if I were to do it all over again, I would have probably eloped.
Well,
A
I'm not
huge
gonna-
wedding is.
I'm not going to I would never have a big wedding. I kind of miss, the wedding presents and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Those are.
We didn't need any shit. We have enough stuff in our house to.
Oh, jeez. All right, this podcast episode's getting out of control. Well, thank you, Haley, for being here.
Now, this is kind of a funny story, though. One of my worst rounds. Worst rounds. In 2013, I win the California Seniors. 2014, we decide that we're going to get married at Pebble Beach right after the California Senior Tournament. Big mistake. Defending my title, I shoot 88 in the first round.
That felt good. Yeah.
Because she was so nervous.
I was
Ow,
getting
that hurt
ready.
my heart.
I was getting ready to sign my life away. I drank half a bottle of wine, took
life away.
an Ambien, and I still couldn't sleep the night before.
But I think I will speak for Kim and say Pat is the best thing to happen
Oh,
to you.
there's
no doubt about that.
But you didn't know me before, but
You in 2014? You mean like before in your heyday?
before I met Pat.
Oh, okay.
Because we were together for 7 years before
So
we
don't
got
get married right after a tournament. Is what you're saying.
No, not if you're defending your title. No.
No titles. There's no titles to defend.
No.
Oh, goodness.
So who does he play football for?
I'm not in a rush to get anywhere if you're worried about that.
Okay, go for it.
I'm meeting people at grass clippings at 6:30.
Okay, so
I'm going to be way early.
Yeah.
My fiance Davis plays for now, God, what are they called? It's been a huge spring league football merger that just happened. UFL Michigan Panthers is who he will be with.
Oh, so he's a pro football player. Mm-hmm. Cool.
yeah. No, they're a fun couple.
So much going on over there in pro football world, but yeah.
Grass clippings. I can't play there. It's got to warm up about 30 degrees for me to play there at night.
Oh, it's going to be cold tonight.
I know. So grass clippings used to be Rolling Hills. They just put all these lights up, and now you can play night golf. Is it going to be your first time there? I haven't gone there yet.
I was there a couple nights ago.
And did you like it? Did you like the idea of playing golf at night?
It's really good content.
I think it'll be fun.
And I'm here with Ben Haddon and Sarah Winter. So we're kind of in a content house, if you will.
Yeah.
Not actually. We all had to stay in Scottsdale for a few extra days after the Adidas event. And we all are going to LA, so we just got an Airbnb.
Yeah.
We've been playing golf and making content and having fun and
And exchanging ideas.
What a life.
no.
What a life.
Nobody is allowed to exchange their ideas. Just kidding. We do, but we all have very different kind of like niches, even within golf, if you will. But it's very fun.
What a life.
It's the life. You should are you a content creator?
You know what? I dare you to
Get
dip
her.
into Kim's IG page tonight.
Let's get
give
you going.
Haley a follow. I don't know if you did or not yet.
No.
But, give after we're done, after we, click the record button here soon, hopefully. Give Haley a follow so she sees you, and just dip in there, Haley. Maybe tonight, maybe after golf.
If you want to laugh,
You have viral potential.
she does.
the 10 tequilas that I drank New Year's Eve was quite viral.
Oh my God. All right, ladies. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
being here
you.
today. And until next time, I'm
Yeah.
sure our paths will cross again
I'm
soon.
moving here.
Fantastic.
I did just buy a house in Charlotte, but I'm moving here.
And it was nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.